Why is it that we think government can do the best when it comes to the delivery of health care? Really, we seem to criticize free markets when really free markets are the solution to the problems that we face. It's non-free markets. It's the government picking winners and losers as opposed to the free market, the notion that better products, better services, lower costs for goods and services benefit all of us. When it comes to healthcare in this country is about 60% of the costs for healthcare are government-driven, bureaucratic, as opposed to paying as you go, as opposed to a truly competitive environment where healthcare entrepreneurs would deliver better products, better services at lower prices. And I know so many of you are involved in the medical marijuana movement. In a nanosecond, you can recognize that medical marijuana as an alternative to prescription painkillers would not only make a huge difference, but save a huge amount of money.
No cartel blood either on them.
Indulge me here for a second. What might be the #1 reason for obesity in America today? Just indulge me for a second. Is it farm subsidies and the fact that we're subsidizing corn and that we've invented a million different ways to consume corn? Among those million different ways is corn sweetener that's in everything, and because we eat stuff with corn sweetener in it, we can't stop eating it because it tastes so good? Might that be a reason for obesity in America? It's in everything, and government may be the culprit for why it's in everything.
Get it out of there!
When it comes to wars, when it comes to our military, we should provide ourselves with a strong national defense. That would be for countries, that would be for individuals that would raise arms against this country. I was opposed to Iraq from the beginning. I thought we had the military surveillance capability to see Iraq roll out any weapons of mass destruction. If they would have done that, we could have gone in and dealt with that militarily. That's what our military is for. I thought that if we went into Iraq, we would find ourselves in a civil war to which there would be no end. Afghanistan, initially, I thought that was totally warranted. That's what our military is for. We were attacked. We attacked back. That was Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. But after being in Afghanistan for about 6 months, we wiped out Al-Qaeda. We took them out of Afghanistan. That was 10 years ago. We're building roads, schools, bridges, highways, and hospitals in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we're borrowing 43 cents out of every dollar to do that. Don't we have those same needs here in this country? I'm in an environment right now where I have to post a paper on everything as it comes down. And by the way, I like it. That's why I'm doing this. This is a blood-boiling kind of occupation here, getting to be a political activist, getting to run for President of the United States. But I'm opposed to what happened in Libya, A through Z. Where was the threat to our national security in Libya? And aren't there 5 other countries in the Middle East right now that qualify for the same military intervention that we pulled off in Libya? Where's the end to all this? Where was the congressional authorization? Where in the Constitution does it say that because we don't like a foreign leader, we should go in and fell that foreign leader? I don't think it's in the Constitution. So it goes on and on and on. Let's use our military in a very sparing way, because the worst of all is that men and service women are losing their lives. Looking at taxes in this country. You know what? It's not what we're so upset about is the notion that not everybody's paying their fair share. That's what I think we're upset about. So the notion of a fair tax, the notion of a consumption tax, the notion of doing away with the IRS and making a fair tax for all of us so that everybody pays. Look, education. The government here, you all so familiar with what the government has done when it comes to drug policy. Can you extend this a little bit when it comes to education? Imagine the opportunities that we would have, or the improvement for opportunity in education, if we unleashed the free market on our educational system, K through 12, as opposed to the government being in charge of it. And just stretch yourself a little bit. Look what they've done with the war on drugs. Imagine what they've done with education. We've become mired in a system that isn't delivering the best of results to everyone.
Stop state-funded testing!
So stop state-funded testing. Get the federal government out of education completely. What could the federal government do beyond anything else to improve education in this country? It would be to eliminate the Federal Department of Education. And let me explain. The federal government gives each state about 11 cents out of every dollar that every state spends on education, but it comes with 16 cents worth of strings attached. So just keep your money. Keep your money. By the way, we give them 14 cents. It does a detour and comes back 11 cents. But give it back to the states. And something that I'm going to say over and over and over again is give it back to the states. 50 laboratories of innovation, all engaged in this process of best practices. Best practices would emerge. It would get emulated by other states. There would be failure. It would get avoided. And I talk now also about using Proposition 19 in California as an example. If Proposition 19 in California would have passed, and marijuana legalization is going to be a state's issue, but if Prop 19 in California would have passed, right now there would be other states considering that legislation, because every single weekend, everybody in Texas would be getting on an airplane to go to California to sit on the beach, right? Immigration is really a big issue right now also. I happen to feel that immigration is something good. It's what this country is based on. That immigration should be viewed as a job creator of tens of millions of jobs, as opposed to taking away of jobs. Immigration should be about work, not welfare. We should eliminate the corporate income tax in this country, understanding that if we do that, understanding that it's a double tax, we all own the corporations. When any income gets distributed to us, that's when we pay income tax on that. And if we do away with the income tax and go to a fair tax, that'll all go away also. But reestablish this country as the only place to grow, nurture, and develop companies. And by doing that, we will create tens of millions of jobs overnight in this country by doing that. Right now, and you probably all have acquaintances and friends, right now we're graduating kids from other countries, and because of our convoluted immigration policies, we're sending them back to their countries of origin, which ultimately are going to employ tens of millions of Indians as opposed to tens of millions of Americans. Let's make it easy to get a work visa. Not citizenship, not a green card, but a work visa. Work visa would be a background check and a social security card so that applicable taxes would get paid. Recognize that the number one reason that we have 11 million illegal immigrants in this country is the government that has made it impossible to get a work visa. So because they've made it impossible, and because Mexicans recognize that if they can get across the border, they can get a job, but they can't get a work permit, so they have to cross illegally. And that's the reason for our 11 million illegal immigrants. So when it comes to those 11 million illegal immigrants, let's set up a grace period whereby they can get a legal work visa. Legal work visa, not citizenship, not a green card, but a legal work visa, background check, social security card. The notion of building a fence across 2,000 miles of border, the notion of putting the National Guard arm in arm across 2,000 miles of border, in my opinion, would be a whole lot of money spent with very little, if any, benefit whatsoever. And then legalize marijuana, and arguably 75% of the border violence with Mexico goes away, because that's the estimate. That is the estimate of the drug cartel's activities that are engaged